Okay guys, I know that some of you have been struggling with subtraction, so today we're going to go over a couple of refreshers over how to subtract. So first of all, we'll start with a basic subtraction problem that doesn't require any type of carrying or taking away. So first of all, we have 2 minus 1 is 1, 8 minus 5 is 3, and 7 minus 6 is 1. So my difference for that kind of subtraction problem is 131. Now, when I'm looking at a more difficult problem, like 912 minus 765, I have to borrow from the place value to be able to subtract these. So when I look at the first one, I have 2 minus 5. We always say, if that's a bigger bottom, you better borrow. So, obviously, 5 is a bigger bottom because 5 is bigger than 2. So we go over to the 1. We're going to take one of the 10s away, which means there are no 10s left, and we're going to put 10 10s with the 12, and with the 2 to make it 12. So 12 minus 5 is 7. Now again, 0 minus 6. 6 is a bigger bottom, so I got to borrow from the 9 hundredths, take one of the hundreds, and there's 8 left, and then that makes that 10. 10 minus 6 is 4, and 8 minus 7 is 1. Now, if we want to check to make sure our subtraction was right, we just do the opposite of subtraction, which is addition. So I take my difference, which was 147, and I add the bottom number in the subtraction problem, which was 765. 7 plus 5 is 12. 4 plus 1 is 5, plus 6 is 11, and 7 plus 1 is 8, plus another 1 is 9. So this 912 matched that 912, which means my difference of 147 was correct. Now the part where most of you seem to struggle is when you have a number like 7,000 minus 2,845. So let's look at this. First of all, I gotta look at this, and that's a bigger bottom, so I have to borrow. Well, there's nothing in the tens place to borrow from, so I skip over to the hundreds. There's nothing in the hundreds place to borrow from, so I skip over to the thousands. So I'm going to borrow one of the thousands, which means there are 6 left, and I'm going to put it right here. Now, I had to put it to the spot right to the next because I'm taking one of the group of thousands away and giving it to the hundreds. Now, when I look over here at my ones, I still see that there's a 0 there, so I still can't borrow from this spot, so I go borrow from the 10, it becomes a 9, and I give a 1 right here. Go do that again, borrow from the 10, it becomes a 9, and I put a 1 right here. So now I'm doing 10 minus 5. 10 minus 5 is 5. 9 minus 4 is 5. 9 minus 8 is 1. And 6 minus 2 is 4. Now we want to check that, so I take my difference, which was 4,155, and I add in the bottom number of my subtraction problem to see if it equals out to the top number of my subtraction problem. 5 plus 5 is 10. 5 plus 1 is 6, plus 4 is 10. 8 plus 1 is 9, plus another 1 is 10. And 4 plus 1 is 5, plus 2 is 7. And that matched my original number, which means that my difference of 4,155 is correct. Now the other way you may see subtractions with decimals, you may have a number like 9 and 8 tenths minus 364 thousandths. Now, it looks funny the way I have it set up right now, but I have the decimals lined up, which is the most important part. What I always remind y'all during class is when you have the decimals lined up, if you need to fill in empty spaces with zeros, that's okay. You can do that so that you have the same amount of digits in each number. So we see that it's a 0 minus 4, we see that that's a bigger bottom, so we better borrow. Well, there's nothing in the tens place to borrow from, so I borrow from the hundreds. Take away one of the hundreds, there's 7 left, and I give it to the tens. There's still nothing in the ones, so now I gotta borrow from the tens. There's 9 left, which means I have 10 ones. 10 minus 4 is 6. 9 minus 6 is 3. 7 minus 3 is 4. The most important rule about adding or subtracting decimals is to bring down the decimal. And then 9 minus nothing is 9. Now we want to check that to make sure it's right, so we use the same strategy of taking our difference of 9 and 436 thousandths and add in the bottom number in our subtraction, which was 364 thousandths, and hopefully we'll get 9 and 8 tenths. 6 plus 4 is 10, 3 plus 1 is 4, plus 6 is 10, 4 plus 1 is 5, plus 3 is 7, 4 plus 1 is 5, 5 plus 3 is 8, and then 9 plus nothing is 9. So when I look at that, it matches, which means my difference of 9 and 436 thousandths is correct.